Hey, this is Peachy.
I'm Moose.
This is Sudan.
And we'd like to take a moment to thank our original launch site, Anchor.fm, who's helped to enrich this podcast in many ways. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast.
Anchor.fm offers educational tools on how to get started in social media and has not only given our show, stapled together, several platforms to choose from for your listening enjoyment, but continues to offer helpful tips and avenues for growth along the way. Best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use.
With an easy, hassle-free method for uploading, you can add your podcast episodes to Anchor.fm's extensive library, available for listening on several popular streaming services, letting listeners choose a favorite platform. And now, Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast.
That means you can get paid to podcast right away. In fact, that's what we're doing right now by reading this ad.
Go to anchor.fm/start to get started today. Okay. It's episode 69.
Oh!
It was really loud.
Zip Together Podcast.
Everybody wants back to Taken Together, but comic book release week, not comic book release week of May 13th, 2020. I'm Moose.
I'm Sudan.
And I'm Peachy.
And we're going to get right into the news.
News.
No news is like good news, is like bad news, is like news.
What do you have for us, Sudan?
Okay, so, Corona occurred. We all know about that, right?
Yeah.
It's not news. But, then they shut down the comic industry.
Correct.
Right.
And then we found out the comic industry is going to not shut down.
Right.
Okay. So, remember we were reading that Justice League? And
Vaguely.
Justice League was really, really good. And, we're like, oh my god, this story's really good. Well, that storyline that I told you guys about, that's continued in that Hellrisen.
Right.
Hellrisen, that really awesome story. Well, June 16th, Dark Knight's Death Metal #1 finally is going to be releasing out.
Nice.
June 16th.
Nice.
Big. Finally, this is definitive. This is it. The culmination of everything that has been written since I think 2007, 2005
Jesus.
has been leading to this event. Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo,
James Tinian.
it's just
Right.
those two
Oh,
at this
okay.
point. I think that I've seen
Not the rest of the everything.
for sure. I'm this is going to be the finalized, because I saw some of the photos and or some of the art that's coming off of it, and you can see Perpetua looming over the thing.
I didn't miss that name.
There's a whole lot of apparently it's to rebuild the multiverse in a weird way, and I'm like, okay, this will be interesting. So I'm really excited about this, to get the big event that everything's been leading up to for so long.
Yeah, so long.
And all of Batman's stories, I'm just like, this will be good. This will be good.
Yeah.
So that's June 16th. So I'm going to definitely be there the next day, because
Nice.
I do not like the Tuesday comic book
That's
release.
just kind of inconvenient.
Do we always, is Marvel also going to be dropping titles at the end of the month? Or
December 27th.
December
Minus 6
Wow.
months.
That's really long.
Well, it's going to be tough for me. You guys are going to be rolling comic books. I'm going to be like,
Okay, so
please,
that brings up...
may I have a panel?
Just an ounce of ink.
That actually brings up what I was going to try and ask earlier is, this could be really awkward because we have books out next week.
Yeah.
Sudan and I have books out next week. You don't.
I did, yeah. I not till the 27th, so yeah, not till the following week.
Yeah, so what are we gonna do?
I have no idea. I still have no access to my digitals, and I have no foreseeable future where
Just
things.
in general.
Yeah.
Life is bleak for Peachy.
Yeah. As far as reading comic books in my digital library, and I mean, I don't have my paper books all readily available. The majority of them are in storage. So it's not something where I can just, I can go back and reread this story, or I know I didn't read this one all the way, or, didn't give this one a chance, or try to put together a run of something that I missed a book or two on. So.
I have a suggestion. Maybe you pick up a DC title and talk about it.
The only problem with that is that next week no number ones are coming out or anything, so he would be starting in the middle of something, or he would still have to go back and buy stuff and then catch up.
I think I need to probably save this for the end of the video, or because what are the podcasts, but like quoting ourselves, like you don't need to get a number one or anything. You could pick up a book at any point and jump right in.
For the most part, I mean, because they have 2 to 6 issue runs.
Yeah.
Where it's one story arc, and you can just, it's a little easier to fill.
But then there's like Justice League that we were just talking about.
Yeah.
That is coming from all of these other stories too, and
huge
continuing
underlying
into
story.
a different story. That if you came in the middle of Justice League, like issue 25, you'd be like, "What is who? Who's Perpetua? The Batman who laughs?
We have Batman who what?"
I mean, if he's really that far behind, though, I have a really awesome suggestion that might help him. There's this really awesome podcast called Stapled Together Podcast where they've talked about a lot of those storylines that would bring him up to speed. There.
Both of those things that you just said are true. You don't listen to podcasts.
Sorry. I want to. I try to.
There is a podcast. I also wouldn't recommend trying to hop into a story that we're in the middle of or something, because that you already know. There's not really. I mean, you could.
What do we know about the independent labels and stuff, and Image and whatever? Are they bringing anything on it?
There's a Boom book out next week that I'll be getting. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, we'll talk about that at the end of the episode.
Nice.
Shakalaka.
Boom shakalaka.
But that's all that I know of. So.
Nice.
Yeah. But super, yeah.
Califragilisticexpialidocious is
comic book. I mean, we went off on a long tangent there, but it's fucking exciting because comic books are coming back.
Yeah.
It deserved a tangent. For real.
Like, I do appreciate that we have a large selection of backlogs in trade.
Yeah.
But also, I really enjoy, like, picking up new books and the covers. I miss looking at covers.
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh, which one do I want? I don't miss not having money.
Right.
Because of all the comics I buy.
I'm liking eating. Right?
Yeah.
There's been a little bit more on the Pokemon. There's definitely been a overspendages on the DC, not the DC, but the Pokemon and Pokemon related products.
I never need an excuse.
YouTube channel.
Plug. Right.
Sorry, you like pulled the rug out underneath me. I'm all like, wait, there's books next week?
Yeah. I was going to talk about it later. At the end of the episode.
So I'm like over here going like, oh, what do I have?
Yeah, I never really need an excuse to spend money. I usually go looking before I even have money. I'm like, I'm going to have money at some point, so
but
what am I going to spend all of it on?
You do action figures and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I have Pops. I've spent a lot more money on Pops in the last couple months than I have before because I don't have to buy comics every week. Like $40 worth of comics every week.
Right.
Which is fine, and I'd honestly like to keep it that way, but I'm also really excited for comics to come back.
Yeah, for sure.
It's going to be nice to see it because, like, every time I go there, I kind of feel like, why are we there? It's like the last 2 weeks that we've actually been able to go back to the conference.
They feel like, why are you here? Well, you're open.
Well, it's just like, I'm kind of like, there's no books out this week, but then I realized that I'm missing books and could have been picking those up, but...
Yeah.
Today's unique situation was kind of different for me. I kind of went in there with fresh eyes, because I wasn't looking, specifically for what I know I'm getting or whatever and stuff like that. So today's trip was still pretty cool.
Which we will also talk about
here
in a minute.
Yeah.
But what was your news, Peachy? So we stopped this tangent.
It's news, tangent news. Tangerine.
I love Tangerine.
Yeah.
Like Tangerine Dream.
Tangerine. That's a Led Zeppelin song.
There's been a huge uproar and whatnot. An outpouring of news articles and things that I've seen from different sources saying that not Eric Larson.
Rob Liefeld?
Yes, he's the guy.
That one.
That Rob Liefeld had come out in an interview.
The rumor came out. Rob Liefeld says there's no Deadpool.
Yeah, that's a pretty... Yeah, I'm getting there.
I know, sorry.
I thought you said that he went on a podcast and came out.
No.
He gay.
He did. I think it was part of a podcast, but it was an interview with Chris Killian, CK, that I follow on the Instagram, and he followed me back. Hey,
nice.
Shameless plug. Chris Killian interviewed
Rob Liefeld.
Rob Liefeld. I'm all Eric
Larson.
Rob Liefeld, and I've got my opinions about Rob Liefeld, but to put it loosely, he's a very opinionated person.
Yes.
He's got a lot of opinions on things and different views on things. He was recently, within the last, I think, 6 months to a year, technically kind of fired from Marvel, from any future Marvel projects. It was shortly around the time of that one character reveal. What was it?
Major X?
Yeah.
Major X reveal.
I almost said X-Force multiple times.
Yeah, around that time he got into some kind of kerfuffle. He's got a mouth, he's got a bit of an attitude, and he's very opinionated.
Yeah.
So on that Chris Killian interview, he said, he was asked about the status of Deadpool.
The movie.
Yeah, Deadpool 3 and them being with Disney and whatever, and I'm not going to exactly quote him because I don't remember word for word what it was, but it was basically this. He said, there's no production or pre-production going on any Deadpool 3 or X-Force movies, and nothing's happening right now, blame Marvel. That's, and as close as I could get for word, but, without actually quoting him.
Right.
And all these sources came out saying, well, there you have it. Rob Liefeld confirms there's no Deadpool 3 happening. There's absolutely zero chance of any Deadpool 3 and stuff like that, which I've seen several different sources. I mean, I was hanging out with a friend of mine yesterday, and they put on something with a guy that was saying, see, there he is, straight from the horse's mouth. He said that they're not doing another Deadpool movie.
He literally said they're not doing a Deadpool.
Yeah, he said, he just literally said they're not doing it. Yeah, and I'm like, no, that is not that's not what he just said at all. So it's been misconstrued, and that, it snowballed. So there's been a lot of articles of the like saying, oh, no Deadpool, no future for Deadpool at Disney, and that type of thing, which...
That was Deadpool.
Yeah. No, which in fact, I've seen several things to the contrary. He was just on Jimmy Kimmel last... Ryan Reynolds was just on... Yeah, Deadpool was, yeah. Ryan Reynolds was just on Jimmy Kimmel last week and said, that they under Disney ownership, and they're still looking for the right avenue under which to release him. It could be under the Disney MCU umbrella, or it could be something where they kind of continue his single movies. And they're kind of working that out. And granted, yeah, there's no pre-production or anything, but it's something that they could easily work into Phase 5 and any of those areas that they have new movie slots announced for.
Especially now, there's a little bit of a delay for them.
Yeah. So I mean, it's far from true that there's no Deadpool coming. And I just want to reassure some fans if they're out there waiting. And I want to reassure myself because I know I'm listening.
Yes. This is the podcast that you listen to.
Yes.
Yeah. One.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what I have for
That's
those.
cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
Love fight.
I would like there to be another Deadpool movie.
Yeah, for sure.
Love Failed is, he's definitely a person that has an opinion, but I definitely do like Deadpool, but we'll see.
Yeah, and it wasn't, there's a very short history from when Liefeld was talking to DC and talking all kinds of garbage against Mark Millar, saying, you're stuck in the 80s and they need to get off their Batman tip. They can't do anything without Batman and da-da-da.
Literally. But do you know Marvel?
Yeah.
Do you know how many Spider-Man titles there are?
Yeah.
Wolverine?
Yeah.
You were supposed to have killed off Wolverine?
Yeah.
You're
Finally.
just continuously copying DC? It's fine.
He did say, quote unquote, they're headed down a slippery slope that there'll be no recovery from.
Yeah.
Well, no, that wasn't an exact quote, but something to that effect.
Right.
He's like, DC's not going to recover from this. Their books are just going to be garbage, and they depend too much on Batman. And
I highly disagree. There are so many good titles out there that are DC.
There's a lot of Batman.
But there is a lot of Batman.
But it's definitely on par with Spider-Man. So nothing he can say that would be correct there.
Yeah.
And it's not just Spider-Man either. They have their ebbs and flows with their characters. Like you said, Wolverine. When there's X-Men movies and stuff going on and the focus is on that type of thing, news is on that, they're going to focus on that book because, it's got other media pulling in an audience and whatever. So they do that. They do depend heavily on their heavy hitters.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm Batman.
Batman.
That's Rap's Pizza.
It is. Don't try to take it.
Did he find
It's
the
my
sign?
pizza.
He lost the sigh.
Did he find it?
He lost the sigh.
But he has two of them, though.
Sigh.
Sigh.
But he has two of them, so he should be fine. Right?
Buddy has two of them.
Buddy has two of them.
What's
He sleeps with them under his mattress. Teenage Mutant Ninja Piggy. Buddy has two of them.
Hero laying in the bed all the time.
So my news is that...
What is your news?
Sorry. What you got?
My news is that Rick and Morty Season 5's been confirmed. I mean, we knew that it was going to happen because of the amount of episodes that we knew that were going to be coming out, but they started production on Season 5.
Awesome.
It'll be coming out at some point, and I'm excited. I just
awesome.
like Rick and Morty. We have 2 episodes to watch.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, for sure. Well, the good thing about it now, though, is just like with Season 4, we knew it was coming.
Yeah.
We got the announcement of the episode contract, 70-some episode contract.
So we knew that it will eventually happen.
Yeah, and with that, that their future wasn't so much up in the air anymore. Are we even going to keep doing this show? Where are we going to put it if we get off a Cartoon Network? Blah, 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 this kind of crap. And now they've got,
They have how many more
Security.
episodes now? It's 6...
something like 60.
63 more episodes that
Yeah.
they are contracted for. So that's so many episodes. That's like several years more of Rick and Morty, and that's amazing.
Yeah, for sure.
I just hope the quality stays where it is because,
The show stays consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll see at least 5 more seasons. possibly a movie.
Oh my god.
Which will piss Rick off.
Yes.
which is why they need to do it.
Yeah.
And that's just when the contract ends.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean, hey, we gotta end the show at this point, whatever. You know?
I'm sure at that point.
It could be like South Park, that just never, ever,
The
ever,
Simpsons.
ever ends. Or The Simpsons.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, like, not
Oh, yeah.
kid-friendly.
Right.
Animated
Adult-themed cartoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. I think that writers will determine on that.
Yeah. If they get tired of doing it, then they can be done.
Yeah.
I'd hate for it to be like, oh, we still have to make Rick and Morty so we can keep making
Why
money.
did we sign that contract?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And negotiations can
They can renegotiate.
renegotiations, girl. No, it's
Keep whistling through your teeth, Heidi. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Drag race.
Dragons. It's fun.
Anyways, renegotiations.
Can occur.
Yeah.
And they could be like, we don't want to do all those.
Which would suck, but I would like them to continue.
Me too.
As much as
Yeah,
they can
for sure.
for as long as they want to. Because Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
Morty.
Yeah, and like I was saying, they don't have the stigma of an uncertain future, which does kind of light a fire under them to produce more sooner.
Yeah.
And kind of get them on a regular schedule. So it was out this time this year. Maybe that we're looking at the same time next year for the next season.
Because this last season got pushed back, didn't it?
Yeah.
Because it was supposed to come out last summer, and they pushed it back to the winter.
Right.
Because of Corona.
No. That was before Corona.
Time traveled back in time to that very moment.
We don't deal with time travel.
Barry did it.
No. This is Rick and Morty. We don't deal with time travel.
No, it's just cool that they're doing that. Like, that they have it coming. Did they give any kind of time frame or any kind of idea on that? Like,
I don't actually read the articles that I get my news from. I'm just like, headlines, let's talk about it.
Right. Yeah, that's it. Not a bad way. I try to get some information.
Yeah,
on
no. Look it up.
Right.
Comicbook.com.
Right. That seems to be a pretty popular news source for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are a comic book podcast, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
yeah. Yep.
So, let's get into the comic book reviews.
Comic book review. Review.
It's a comic book review.
That's what it is.
Reviews.
Because we did a little bit something different this week.
That we did.
I had the idea of us picking books for each other rather than us just blindly walking around the comic book store reading pretty much the same things that we were always trying to read.
Right.
And I feel like it turned out pretty okay, personally.
Yeah.
So I picked Peachy's book, and Peachy picked Sudon's book, and Sudon picked my books.
Peachy's book.
Yes. Peachy got twice the amount of books, and I didn't read anything.
Yeah.
That is correct.
Actually, everybody just picked books for me and nobody else read. I'm like, why?
Yeah,
Like,
you
so-
picked books for yourself.
So you guys ready
Took a nap.
to start?
Just
like-
talk.
Yeah.
You just talk for the next 45 minutes.
This group of books was cool, though.
And then this happened. Wait, no, that happened in the other... Wait,
no.
no, hold on.
When I talked about that other book, did I say that this happened? No, wait. Yeah.
And we just leave.
Yeah.
It's just you in the room.
And I'm just arguing with myself.
Yeah.
No.
Sudon's asleep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyways, but yeah, Sudon, do you wanna start us off with the comic book reviews?
The comic book reviews. Peachy picked books for me today,
Yes.
and he picked trace of them. They still exist. There's trace of them. He got me Unearth. Issues 1, 2, and 3. Written by Cullen Bunn.
Yep. He's a popular Deadpool writer.
Yes.
He's got buns. And Kyle Strom.
Okay.
I'm thinking he might have been the artist Baltimore Rivas is the artist. Shush, pass suit on. But Kyle Strom did help write it, but there was no colorist mentioned. And the covers, for the most part, were done by Baltimore Rivas.
He probably also did the coloring then, too.
He could have. It's definitely colored. Book is interesting. I would not say it's a book I'd want to continue getting.
Okay.
It's kind of feel like it was more up Ooze's alley.
Oh, really?
I'm not surprised. It's an image book.
It's about an invasion of some sort of entity that, it kind of gave me vibes of Cloverfield mixed with Alien mixed with Mist mixed with just like a lot of different insect type stuff. It was just kind of like this thing, it infects the body and it's trying to create some sort of hive mind. You can kind of get that gist. But the story is so disjointed from the first 3 issues. They jump so many different places.
Oh, really?
And there's really, they just kind of have like a timestamp and you kind of go, okay, who are these people? And there's one group that's like investigating like a village that's been infected that might be outside this cave that suddenly appeared. That kids found a dog that had been mutated and was trying to go into the cave, and they caught it. And then when they caught it and selfies, and the government came in and got involved. And once they got the kids away, the kids all got Coke bottles and killed themselves. Kind of stuff.
Like cut the wrist with broken glass?
Slit each other's throats for each other. You get a kind of a gist that this team goes in and it kind of feels very alien-y. And they get split apart, and one team, the head military guy goes crazy, gets kind of infected by the mind that's trying to infect the world, and now he's like, oh, I will get everybody to join you. Kind of. It's gory. It's got the gore to it. Lots and lots of gore. So I think that's kind of an example of some of the stuff.
Looked at that one.
Cover of number 3 there.
The covers do not do the art inside justice, because if the guy did it looks so much better than it doesn't the art inside, and it's not bad inside. It's just a lot of splat.
Okay.
But the colors kind of helped it, and it felt what was that one that they were watching when they were under the earth and all those, they couldn't. Okay, we're all even
Corona
now. We were just watching it recently.
The Descent.
And they had that sequel that was terrible.
Yeah, The Descent too.
Yeah, that it's kind of like that. They're in this underbelly, they're trapped, and they have to get out.
The Descenting.
The Descenting.
Is the second one.
But, I mean, with the writing, kind of like, was like, this is who these people are. Give us kind of thing. There's some backstory that they're kind of telling. I'm sure it'll flush out as the comic rolls through. Right. One girl's obviously connected psychically to this being, or some sort of
Stranger
mole.
Things.
Yeah, kind of. Or, Attack on Titan. Infiltrative. Most of the first book was just so like, what is happening? Okay, that dog just exploded. Okay, they're now going into a cave. That's where it kind of was like, it ended up getting a 4 out of 10 on that one. The second one got better because it was actually, they kind of started giving you a little bit more on the story, what might be happening, so that one got a 6 out of 10. And the last one kind of just continued, everybody was dying or becoming infected.
I'm just continuing to name things as they pop into my head.
All of the above. It was just invasion body snatcher type thing, which the thing kind of. But it does present an interesting mystery, but why? And so I mean, if you like the body snatcher kind of realm, it's got a horror flick to it, kind of feel to it, sci-fi horror alien type thing. It's good, but it's just not something up my alley.
Right.
I mean,
my draw to it was the it's on number 6 on the was what is on the shelf right now.
Mm-hmm.
The black and red. It's a black and red kind of color scheme. Whatever kind of drew me to it. I like the title goes down the side of the cover. You know,
it's very Image.
Yeah. It's very indie comic.
Yeah.
Like off, not like this is a superhero comic.
Yeah.
I
went in there with
me a lot too.
Yeah. I went in there with like new eyes for something new.
Right.
And thinking I'm going to read this, whatever. I would probably read this. It's not at all what I thought it would be. Like, not at all. I thought maybe some supernatural aspect to it, but not.
Based on
totally
the covers, like, they totally give a really cool picture. I love the covers. That is a really good draw. But I remember seeing this in the seeing the covers in the previews and stuff like that, going, damn, and then like reading a little bit, going,
what?
Like, no, like that was just like kind of the farmer or farmhand or something was that one that was recently came out by Image where they were planting people and throwing people out of the fields.
Well, I have no idea.
It's another one of those horror or Ice Cream Man.
Yeah,
that
Ice
one.
Cream Man. Everything is one because it's a supermarket that sells literally everything. That's another one that's like really weird.
Really?
They sell everything, but it's just called Everything.
Huh.
Which it looks weird and interesting, but also like, are you going to actually read it? Spend the money on it.
See, now this is one of those ones, like, if it pops up on the Humble Bundle where I can get the rest of it digitally, I'd probably just flush out the rest of the story just because I am curious to know what happened and what's going on. But it was very quickly, I mean, I could kind of see where part of the story was going just by like kind of going, okay, I've seen this movie.
Yeah.
Right.
I've seen all of these movies in this book.
Right. Yeah, there's only so many plots.
Which is fine. It happens, but I mean, I was kind of like, all right, your covers are misleading.
Right. Yeah,
Which
definitely.
Is why you don't judge a book by its cover.
But hey, I picked up some fantastic freaking books by
same.
picking up some awesome covers.
Sure, not Cosmic Ghost Rider.
Nope.
But yeah, that was. Thank you.
Yeah.
Not Peachy's fault. It was the coverist's fault.
Yeah.
Just have more people being taken over by aliens, then I'll be like, oh,
right.
That's what this is going on. Yeah. See, if I look at an alien cover, I know
that person's gonna have acid blood going through them.
There's gonna be acid in this. Acid, check this out.
Acid, check this out.
Hey, it was just quit the podcast. I just got a text message from her. How? How? I don't know. I'm in airplane mode.
Everyone sponsor an airplane mode.
It's from the future.
Yep. Time travel.
I was just editing the episode and I reheard that. I quit.
Peachy.
Yeah.
What books did I choose for you this week?
This week for me, you chose Boom Studios' Firefly, number 1 and 2. Awesome book. I did read Serenity. I forget what the title of the book was. It was like You'll Never Catch Us Now or something. I can't.
Serenity
a while
now.
back. It was
wait. He passed away this week.
Yeah. It was one I can't remember. It was a pretty catchy title. I think it was 1 through 5 or 1 through 6.
Nice.
it was pretty decent, and they kind of, made off with, like, their final, like, they actually got their score, and everybody got to,
like, live happy lives.
Yeah, live happily ever after kind of thing is kind of how it ended, and it was pretty decent, but this Boom book was definitely, I felt at home with Firefly on this. The thing that I felt was similar to the Buffy book was that it kind of jumped in kind of quick. Not a whole lot of introductions.
Right.
Granted, if you're going to be picking up this book,
who everyone is. It's Firefly.
Large that's all, folks. No, a large percentage of people are going to be going in as a predetermined fan.
Yeah, for sure. But it right away had everybody's character, just the way they should be. The situations were very Firefly, very Serenity.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is Wash alive?
Yes, he is.
Yes!
What about Sal or Q?
Sal or Q? No, everybody's alive. It's like, it's like basically like a normal episode. It could be the start of season 2.
Before Serenity.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Before Serenity.
Doesn't count.
Serenity doesn't count.
So yeah, this is everything before Serenity, everything in between, or whatever. But, BT dubs.
The moment Wash died, I stopped paying attention. Like, there was no longer canon at that point.
There wasn't a whole lot left after that. So.
Seriously, like, it stopped being canon at that point.
Right.
In the wind.
They, of course, give credit on the book to Joss Whedon for creating the series. This was written by Greg Pak, illustrated by Dan McCade, who did a wonderful job. Great character representation, great emotion display
Nice.
of emotion on the faces, and great, new faces to people you haven't seen. There's this scruffy cowboy guy, whatever, bandolero type. Yeah.
It's Firefly.
Yeah, that shows up, and he's got his own unique look and whatever, and, you don't see a whole lot of repeated art with it, which is pretty great. Super damn impressive. The colors were by Marcelo Costa, lettered by Tim Campbell, and the covers were done by Lee Garbett. Great covers.
You said Greg Pak,
I thought it was
right?
2 different people.
No.
Covers. Oh.
No, both books show, Lee Garbett.
Okay, cool.
You said Greg Pak, right? Pak.
Greg Pak, P-A-K.
DC and Marvel with him.
Oh, nice.
Our Action Comic. A lot of New 52 work for him.
Huh.
Batman, Superman, Action Comics. Recently in Marvel, he did the Secret Origins for the DC. He's done a lot of Star Wars stuff.
Oh, okay.
Now that he's
all
with Marvel.
things that I have totally gotten.
And apparently he did the Alien Reality of the Symbiote Spider-Man run.
Oh,
I
really?
didn't know that.
I didn't read that series. But jumping back into the book, it was all very familiar situations type of things. They weren't dealing with like Reavers or anything just yet or whatever, but they found themselves in situations. Mm-hmm. The end of the first book was a cliffhanger. The end of the second book was again a cliffhanger.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
But the thing that felt different but very much the same was the war flashbacks.
Nice.
Yeah, you know how they had the war flashbacks.
Yeah.
These were, for some reason, they felt a lot more intense and understandable, readable, and in the show it's like, oh, they're back at the war. Here's their war scene.
Brown coat.
Yeah, this and that. But there's a lot more detail going on, a lot more of the emotion involved behind it. How Zoe and Mal are scarred by things that happened in the past. and whatever. So they know these characters really well. They draw them really well. It's a good damn book. It is a really good damn book. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem. That is one of the things that sucks about there only being one season is that they didn't get to fully, recognize those characters and flesh out their backstories, even though we know enough about the characters to care about them and love them and be upset when they die or when bad things happen to them, but we didn't get, the whole back everything that they could have done.
Yeah, that whole confirmation of of Joss Whedon's whole Inara story. How that was going to tie up in whatever, that she had some sort of power, then she was dying, and something, whatever. But yeah, she was going to end up dying, and Mal would never get to really express his love, or just as they were able to, find a place where they could be together. Yeah, she's going to die. What's the plan for that character?
Sure.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, to see everything, all these ideas fleshed out, and see the path to the movie, to that point, whatever, and beyond, if they can go, if they're going to move beyond Inara's death, whatever. It's unfortunate, they can't really do it. They can't do it anymore.
Mal self-destruct.
Yeah, but really good, really, really good, and it does feel like it's just another episode in a season that I never saw.
Yay! That's exciting.
Was the pacing better than what we described in Buffy?
Yes. It was. It was cohesive, but fast-paced. It made sense. This is happening, bam. Okay, move on to this chunk of this is happening, bam. It's each kind of little scene was compartmentalized, and everybody got their little, their say in what's happening, and it made sense as why things progressed the way they did and everything. So it was pretty dang good.
So did it feel like 2 episodes of the season, or okay.
Yeah, it felt like a cliffhanger episode part 2.
Cool.
Yeah.
So much better than Buffy's.
Yeah, because it's usually okay, this is happening, and now we're done.
Yeah.
And you have to wait a month for the next book.
Yeah, no, it felt very episodic and super cool. Super, super, super cool. Actually, it makes me want to kick myself, because I picked up the free comic book day.
Right.
And I'm like, man, maybe nah. And it's actually pretty damn good.
Cool.
It's good.
Yeah.
Yes. Sweet.
Yeah, for sure. What'd you have for us today?
Well, Sudan chose something because he has alternative,
I didn't follow the rules, I guess.
Yeah. He has alternative means, or not means, what's that called?
I was trying to think of it.
Cloned methods.
Alternative motives.
Ulterior motives.
Ulterior motives.
Yes.
Because he wants me to watch Rebels, because we just finished watching Clone Wars, and it was the worst.
I also want you to watch Rebels.
I mean, yeah, both of you want me to watch Rebels, but...
It was more of, I just want somebody else to read this.
Yes. So the book was Star Wars Kanan, The Last Padawan. So going into this, I know that he's blind. He's voiced by Freddie Prinze Jr. And what else did I say? I forgot already. And that he... Spoilers, I'm not going to say. I'll cut it out. But I know that. I know big spoilers because, guys watch YouTube videos with me around.
I don't remember that.
I do.
Yeah, me too.
I remember that last one, though. All the other ones are true.
So this is about the character from Star Wars Rebels, And the writer was Greg Wiseman, artist was Pepe Larraz, colorist is David Carell, and letterer was Joe Caramagna. Alright, so I was really hoping that they would, like, wait till at least the second book to do Order 66. At least. But nah.
You get thrown in.
Yeah, like, 4 pages left, and it's like, one of the clones is like, oh, gotta take this call. Oh, it's the Emperor. Oh, gotta execute Order 66.
News, everyone!
And that was the worst. The art's really good. Okay, so what I like about the book, because, I mean, we all know what's gonna happen, right? It's Order 66, it's clone time, it's Kanan as a young Padawan, the last Padawan. He's on a planet with his Jedi Master, who I forgot her name, but yeah, she's chill. Apparently she's crazy. I don't know.
And his name is...
yeah,
Caleb Dune.
Something. Caleb Dune. Yeah, and not Kanan.
Yeah.
I'm not going to remember that, though, because I am really bad at remembering names. So his name's Kanan, because I can see it right there.
Yeah, it says it on the book.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the clones' names was Gray.
Yeah.
I remembered that.
Nice.
His clones. And Big Mouth. There was other ones, too. But I really like the parts where the Master is actually, like, training her Padawan and being like, okay, you need to, like, be defensive at this part and let them come to you when they're trying to invade this, or not invade, liberate, as the Jedi would say, a world that's under Separatist control. And she's like, you have to let them come to you and be more defensive rather than aggressive when you're attacking or when you're fighting, because that's the Jedi way. That's how you should be. And there's a lot of really cool lightsaber stuff, which I enjoyed. And I just really like the idea of actually being able to train a Padawan in war and stuff, and him learning things. Then, yeah, Order 66 happens, and I hate everything, and I wanted to cry. And then, in the second book, Master dies, because, you know, that's what happens. And Kanan is on the run, and he's, like, starving, and clones are after him, and he's, like... just constantly running until one of the guys from the city that he met up with at the beginning of the last book was like, oh, it's you, you're a Jedi. And he's like, don't come near me. He's like, I'm not gonna fight you, I don't care. Here's some food, bye.
Bye.
Basically. And Kanan's like, yo, can I have a place to sleep for, like, just a night, because I haven't slept in like a week, and I smell, and the Jedi didn't teach me how to survive, like, outside of war and the Jedi Temple, so I don't know what I'm doing. That was cool. And then, dude's like, yeah, you gotta figure out how to live in this universe on your own without the Jedi, because everyone's gonna be after you until you figure that out, and you're gonna have to lie, steal, and cheat to make your way through the universe like everyone else.
Right.
So then he's like, okay, get off my ship. And then there's clones, and dude's like, oh no, there's no one on my ship. And then the ship takes off, and Kanan's gone on the ship because he stole the ship because he told him to steal and lie.
Lie, cheat, and steal.
Yeah. And he is on his way to Coruscant.
Nice.
Yes, because there was the call for all the Jedis to come back.
Right.
And then Obi-Wan's like, yo, don't do that. Because it's a trick. But he's already...
Trick.
It's trick. not a trap, it's a trick. And then, but he's already there, and there's a bunch of, like, TIE fighters, or not TIE fighters, because TIE fighters are...
H-Wings?
Probably, I don't remember. There's a bunch of ships after him already that are there.
The pre-X-Wings.
The pre-X-Wings. I don't know. And it leaves off on a cliffhanger because, you know, it's a, 5-issue run, and this is the second book.
Is it 5?
12-issue.
Oh, it's a 12.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm highly tempted to pick it up. I really am, and I know you've been
Which is why I wanted to try to get the first section, the first volume, because it's a really good story. Cause
I was not trying to... Sorry, I was trying to not say all of the things, because you probably want to read it at some point.
Yeah, well, I'll read it at some point. It doesn't matter. It's cool.
He knows how it goes.
Well, yeah.
He's watched Rebels.
And then he dies. But yeah, there was a lot of cool lightsaber stuff. I have his lightsaber, so that's cool.
Yeah, he's got a cool lightsaber.
That scene with the shadow, with the sunset, them doing the lightsaber, that was my background for a while.
Nice.
Yeah, no, that was my favorite part, when she's like, how do you feel right now? And he's like, I feel like I have a lot of questions. And she's like, I know that's literally just you all the time, but how does your heart feel? And he's like, I feel at peace, and it doesn't make sense because they're in the middle of this war. And she's like, it does make sense because you finally found your place in the universe, and that's the Jedi way. And I'm like, that's cool.
That is cool.
I hate Star Wars.
Yeah. Me too.
And then he's all upset because all of his friends are attacking and killing him. And I'm like, I'm just thinking about Clone Wars now. I want to cry. But I can hear, like, everyone's voices and stuff happening. There's Steve Bradley Baker, the clones, and Freddie Prinze Jr. Stupid.
Yeah. And Rebels is a good series. It is a good series. And it's a great follow-up. A great follow-up to Clones.
Yeah.
For sure.
So, do you want to continue?
I don't know.
Do you want to finish?
Not really.
Not really.
I just don't want to be in pain anymore. It makes me so sad.
Life is pain.
My existence is pain.
Yeah.
I liked it, and that's why I've been wanting somebody to read it.
Yeah.
Right. I have nobody besides spoiler people to give, you know.
Yes.
But
yeah.
But
it was awesome.
The art was really good, and the story is good, and it's Star Wars. It's Star Warsy.
The cover artist, I met him last year, got him to sign the entire run.
Nice.
Cool.
That's cool.
Here. He does a lot of the
covers was
it's right there in the front. David Mack, right?
No, Mark Brooks.
Brooks.
Oh, it's Mark Brooks.
Brooks, yeah.
Yeah, Mark Brooks. Yeah.
Right.
We did meet him last year.
Yeah.
I remember that. I was there.
Uh-huh.
Right.
I didn't have him sign anything. I don't think.
I don't think I did either.
He does a lot of his Batman stuff too.
Yeah.
So that's where I was like, yep. But,
yeah.
Well, hopefully
his lightsaber looks purple in this one.
Oh, there's the alarm for the foods.
Yep.
No. Hey, what?
Could hear the
Maybe she turned it off already.
Oh, okay.
But yeah,
nice.
that was the books that I read.
Nice.
And that's the end of the episode.
Yeah, for
that
sure.
That went really fast.
It did go really fast.
I think we were all just very excited to talk about our books, except for Sudan.
So,
I mean, it's not anybody's particular fault. The book covers were misleading. You know?
Yeah.
They were, yeah.
And yeah.
So, what books do you have next week?
That's a great question. Sudan, what books do you have next week? We'll start with you.
Apparently, I have Deceased Unkillables.
Ooh.
Yep, number 3.
Number something.
Number 3, which is the last one, which I'm so excited about.
It's definitely going to be an interesting thing. That's Raphael's Pizza. Okay. Deceased Unkillables. There's a Jim Henson's Ghosts number 2. It's the Storyteller series. It's pretty cool. But then we also probably have that Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Number 14.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
So what
Yep.
So what you got,
Buffy
News?
goes. Peachy, what do you
Not a damn thing.
Not a dang gosh thing. Yeah, I have Buffy the Vampire Slayer number 14, Boom Studios, and Deceased Unkillables number 3 by DC, and Red Hood Outlaw number 45.
I'm gonna pick up that Flash.
The Giant, I already have it, so no, I was not planning on it. But yeah, those are the books that we have next week. I don't know. Maybe you should keep reading Firefly.
I don't know.
I don't know what to do.
Where are they at?
I want to say like 15, probably more.
It's a lot of filler.
I was gonna say probably in the Fs.
If you go, if you actually, there's the glass cases.
Shut up.
At the
Oh
very
my God.
end, it's like right before where they start Flash.
It's a little bit after. I think it's before Firestorm.
I'll make sure and avoid
No,
the
it's
area.
after, yeah, no, it's before Firestorm.
Firestorm.
Alphabet.
And then
Let
after
me see.
Fire Team Alpha.
Guys, did you hear these guys? DC's rolling out new books on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Marvel's got new books rolling out on the 27th. Freaking go back to your comic book stores, pick these comic books up and touch them and love them.
Yeah, with your masks on.
With your masks on.
If you don't know where your local comic book store is, go to comicbookstorelocator.com to figure that out. Pick up these books. Boom is coming out with books. DC is coming out with books. Marvel will eventually be coming out with books. But there's also, like we said, backlog trades that you can read if you cannot wait for Marvel to come out, or if DC isn't putting out your books right now, or if you just want to find something new.
For Sheetal.
Along with digital outlets.
Yeah.
Along with digital.
You want to, I'm trying to find what issue Firefly's on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, check out all our social medias. Peachy Keen 76 on the Instagram.
Woo.
Stapled Together Pod on Instagram.
Yep.
And Sudan Lives on the Instagram and Twitter.
Yep.
All the above.
Sudan Segment on YouTube. Get your Pokemon fix.
Like, yeah, that's what's next. I'm cringing because that's what's next. Like, no, stop it.
Firefly's on 17.
Jeez, you're a year and a half behind, man.
15 books.
Yep. Actually, it'll be released on the 20th.
Oh,
So,
really?
Yeah. So it's technically on 16.
You got some time.
Yeah. If you choose to get more Firefly, if you get like 2 books every week.
Right.
Until the end of the month. Which
Right.
is not enough, but
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like comic books, guys.
Faux show.
Peachy, do you got a quote for us?
Yeah. It's a quote. It's a DC quote. It says, "You're going to make a difference. A lot of times it won't be huge. It won't be visible even. But it will matter just the same." That is a quote from Commissioner James Gordon.
Nice.
Don't have an issue reference, unfortunately, but I really liked it. So,
It's Justice Aim.
just the same.
Justice Aim.
Just the same.
Do you have a quote from us?
I don't listen to podcasts.
I don't listen to podcasts. That is a terrible quote. Don't encourage other people to not listen to podcasts. They can listen to us on multiple platforms.
Multiple platforms.
This is Peachy. Peachy doesn't listen to podcasts.
This is...
Don't be like
Don't be like PG.
Hi, Peachy!
Hi, PG. Alright. We'll have you listening next time, guys. Thank you for listening this time.
Take it easy.
See ya.
Bye.
See ya.
Hey, thanks for listening to our podcast. If you enjoyed this, connect with us on social media, and of course like and subscribe so you don't miss out. Music is brought to you by Kevin MacLeod. Find more of his music by visiting incompetch.com or clicking on the link in the description. If you want to listen to more, find us on anchor.fm or website unstabletogetherpod.wixsite.com and pretty much anywhere you can find podcasts.